And welcome to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters. Good morning and good evening. I am Sally Reyes, the Assistant Sergeant at Arms, and would you all please take out your phones and shut them to silence so we won't interrupt anyone. Thank you so much, and please help me welcome the president and leader of Leaders Worldwide. She is a co-sponsor and assistant division director, distinguished Toastmaster, and general intuitive, and angel, guardian angel. Cynthia, stop.
Get those all in there. Thank you so much, Sally Reyes, our member of our Sergeant at Arms team. And I'm so excited. Oops, I got to turn off my phone. I didn't listen to you. I'm so excited to welcome you today. We have a very special meeting. And I want to quickly welcome all of the guests. We're not going to have time for you to say hi right now, but at the end of the program, we have a time for takeaway and virtual chocolates where you get a chance to share with everyone what your experience was and how you enjoyed the day, and one thing that you're taking away with you, one thing that you're learning, or one comment. But we want to hear from you at the end of the program. So without further ado, I will hand it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Victor Irving Jenkins.
Ta-da! Thank you ever so much for giving me the lectern. I'm Victor Irving Jenkins, and we're going to get right into our meeting. And our meeting theme this week is Women in History. If I'm not mistaken, there's a link to the agenda in the chat box, and you want to check out the agenda because the agenda tells you what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. For now, I give you the master leader, Linda Patton. Take it on, Linda Patton.
Cynthia, I asked you, did you have somebody else in mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. You want me to do it, Linda?
Yeah, please.
Okay, great.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
So I will stay with off camera because I need to read something. Which is, I have a quote from Maya Angelou, and almost everybody knows who Maya Angelou is, but I wanted to give a little reading because I learned something about her from Wikipedia. Okay. She was born Marguerite Annie Johnson, not Maya. And she was born in 1928, and unfortunately we lost her in 2014, but she is still with us in spirit. She was American poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years. She received dozens of awards and more than 50 honorary degrees. That's 50. Wow. Angelou is best known for her series of 7 autobiographies, which focus on her childhood and early adult experiences. The first was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing from 1969. And I remember seeing that movie when I was a child. It really had an impact on me. And it tells of her life up to the age of 17 and brought her international recognition and acclaim. So I want to, because I want to get this right, I want to read to you her quote. That is my favorite quote that she has. Just a sec. And it is, She says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that is what I try to live by. It's not so easy when you're a leader and you need to get things done like today. We're running and scurrying around, but I really want to make all the guests and the members and the role players feel welcome and appreciated and like they are very special to us, even when a siren's going by. And that's it. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you ever so much. Before I introduce you to the general evaluator, I am compelled to tell you that the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment where every member is given the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, our general evaluator, Rosalind Ann Kahn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rosalind Kahn, and I'm going to be our general evaluator for today. And my job is to make sure our meeting runs as it should. And I'll be calling on our timer and our counter to get their reports of what they've got going on and reviewing our meeting as a whole. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rosalind. And now the grammarian will tell us about the word of the day and why it's significant. I give you Sally Elizabeth Reyes.
Thank you. The word of the day is to empower. And I am improvising to strengthen and support an individual or group in their presentation. I am here to evaluate the ahs and ums and spaces and ands, but all the poor words which take strength from your delivery of your message. Thank you.
And thank you. And since brevity is the soul of wit, we have something called a timer. So will the timer please tell us your role and how you're going to do your thing? And I introduce you to Isaac Ford.
Hi, I'm the timer for tonight or this afternoon, and my job is to keep the time, keep everybody on time. So we got 3 sections. We got table topics, speakers, and evaluators. And I'll just give you an example of a speaker. The normal speech time is 5 to 7. So when you reach 5 minutes, you'll see a green light. Once you reach 6 minutes, you get a yellow. And once you reach 7, you'll get a red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. So that's going to be my job tonight, is to keep the time and to try to keep everybody on time. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Isaac, and I wish you well. This meeting is characterized by a keynote speaker. And today we have a phenomenal keynote speaker as far as I can tell. And to help us find a little bit more before our keynote speaker gets into what they're going to say, I'm going to ask our president to introduce our keynote speaker. And our president is Cynthia Stott. Cynthia, take it away.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to disappear again from video because I want to read Tala's formal introduction, but I also am going to share about why I asked him to speak, especially today on celebrating Women's History Month. So let me start with that. His name is Tala bin Hamid, and he is 42 years old, a chartered accountant, which is Pakistan's version of a CPA, a certified public accountant, by profession. His passion, he's a student of physics. That's not something you hear often. I'm a student of physics too, woohoo! Physics, faith, spirituality, and any knowledge that makes the world a better place. He has been a Toastmaster since June 2016, and his wife is also a contest-winning Toastmaster. His home club is Karachi Toastmasters Club. He's currently serving as VP of Education of the club, as well as Program Quality Director of District 122, which is a territorial council. I'll explain that a little bit. The Program Quality Director is the second in command of the trio of leaders for a district. And it's territorial council because Pakistan does not yet have enough clubs, they will soon, to be a district itself. And his keynote title will be Fireflies. It will reflect upon some women that he finds inspiring, from religious history to recent world history to some inspiring women on the current world stage. He thinks of them as fireflies who used their fire and their zeal to light up the world and pave the way for humanity across space and time instead of burning it up. So I also want to share why I brought this man to us. He's amazing. He's a real servant leader who defines leadership as not someone who leads, but someone who serves. And he walks that walk and talks that talk every day. And I brought him because I wanted a man to come and speak about Women's History Month and to embellish upon why we have these amazing, empowered women leaders. And the man that came to my mind was Tala, but he was scared. Is that right, Tala? Remember what you told me when I first asked you? Can you say what you told me? It was hilarious.
Well, I'll be walking the razor-thin wire. On one side, there's a glacier consisting of snowflakes. And on the other side, there's a boiling lava sea of chauvinists.
And he was so afraid to, I don't know what that word is. What is that? Like, be an imposter as a man speaking about women. But I really value that men and women, we come together and we appreciate each other and we respect each other. And I want leaders worldwide to be a place where we integrate the energies, information, and ways of being of men and women, Black, white, Muslim, Christian, whatever. I want everyone to be respected and appreciated. And I think Tala will help us do that today. I've got tears in my eyes, and I'm really looking forward to your speech. Please welcome Tala bin Hamid. Fireflies, Tala bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, DTM Stott. That was an amazingly generous introduction, which I don't deserve by any means, but I welcome anyway. Am I audible and visible clearly?
Yes, you are. And can you see the timer?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Great.
So I'll just start. Yeah. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as I stated earlier, today I'll be walking the razor-thin wire that suspends between a glacier of snowflakes and a lava sea of chauvinism. And I don't expect to emerge unscathed. My best hope is that I will offend everyone equally. Speaking of fire, if somebody gives you fire, what would you do with it? Will you make a torch out of it? Or will you burn the world around you? People have done both. Let's jump across the continents and let's jump across time. 1400 years ago, the enigmatic peninsula of Arab, there's a lady who is a savvy businessman, who is smart, who has scores of men under her employ. And remember That was 1400 years ago in Arabia, where they used to bury newborn daughters. She was not buried. She inherited her father's wealth, and now it had spread so much that her trade business dwarfed that of each and every one of her tribesmen. As I said, she had scores of men under her employ, and she selected one of those men, one young man, a 25-year-old man, to lead a caravan to Syria. The caravan came back laden with riches and profit. And this lady was so smitten with the honesty, character, and talent of the leader of the caravan that she decided she wanted to spend the rest of her life with him. This lady that I'm talking about is Khadija. She was 40 years old. And this man that I'm talking about is Prophet Muhammad. He was 25 at that time, 1400 years ago. A 40-year-old woman proposing to a 25-year-old man, and the man accepting. I don't know about you guys, but on the 6 inhabited continents of this planet, out of 8 billion people on this planet, 7 billion people would find at least one reason to be offended by this arrangement. Don't we all comment on social media about people marrying each other and about how someone is not suited for someone else? But this was a marriage literally made in heaven, because Prophet Muhammad went on to ordain that eternal salvation waited for 4 kinds of men. The first man who took care of his mother. The second man who was nice and gentle to his wife. The third man who raised daughters instead of burying them. And the fourth kind of man who safeguarded the inheritance that was due to his sisters. Can you imagine all that? There are some parts of the world today that even today cannot imagine this liberty. And you know why? That's not because of any religion. That's because they refuse to follow the commands of all the world religions who preach the dignity and humanity of women. Fast forward to, let's say, 1300 years, and let's travel across the Sahara and northwards into Europe and into Poland, late 19th century. A lady dares to enroll into Paris University, and she dares to take up the discipline of physics and mathematics. Not only that, she gets into research, and her favorite subject of research is a mysterious kind of ray that emanates from a newly discovered element. Along the way, she falls for another scientist, and they marry each other, and they jointly research that new phenomenon which came to be known as radiation. The lady goes on to write 32 research papers. In the early 1900s, she was nominated for her first Nobel Prize, and that was the first Nobel Prize given to a female, but she had to fight for it. Initially, they were not shortlisting her, but she did not go on a violent spree. She did not challenge the authorities in a violent way. Instead, she fought through merit, and she got the nomination. And not only that, she got another nomination in 1911, becoming the only person till that time to get the Nobel Prize twice. The story doesn't end there. She continued to research, and in a couple of decades, she succumbed to the illness due to constant exposure to radiation. She sacrificed her life, but what should she give humanity? An endless tradition of saving lives. Marie Curie, the woman I speak of, must have saved millions, if not billions of lives by now, and she will continue to save them till the end of time. Fast forward a few more years and let's jump across the pond to United States. Early 50s, a black lady, an engineer, already 2 strikes against her. In fact, 3, lady, black, and engineer. She enrolled into NACA, the precursor to NASA, and she started work as a computer. Back then, computers, the term was not used to denote machines. It was used to denote scores of women that were used to manually make and recheck calculations. So this precursor to NASA was preparing for America's apparently belated response to Russia's conquest of space. This lady was so good that she got transferred to the Flight Research Cell, which directly involved itself in orbital calculations. In that cell, all her colleagues were white males. And what's more, not only those males were her enemy, the society was her enemy. She could not drink water from the same cup. She could not go to the same washroom. She could not get coffee from the same pot that the others did. Everything was segregated. She had to go to the washroom 3 blocks away, half an hour. And while she was there, she kept working. She progressed through the ranks and steadily gathered respect for colleagues and her superiors until the day came when Alan Shepard, the first US astronaut, went into space. And guess whose calculations his space sojourn was based on? This lady known as Katherine Johnson. And not only that, the first astronaut to circle the globe asked Katherine Johnson to recheck his calculations at the last minute. Otherwise, he refused to lift off. And guess what? Katherine Johnson's calculations provided the vital re-entry point that landed the astronauts safely back to Earth. Katherine Johnson went farther than any woman has ever gone in space research. She went farther than any colored person has ever gone in space research. And she went farther in life than most men have ever gone because she lived to be 102 years old. And she has been canonized by NASA as one of the cornerstones of America's response to the space race. Taking a flight or a space shuttle from the USA right down into the heart of the Indian subcontinent, late 1940s, it was in the process of being split between 2 countries, India and Pakistan. India consisted of Hindu majority provinces, while Pakistan consisted of Muslim majority provinces. A lot of leaders, dozens and dozens from both sides of the aisle, contributed to that struggle. But there was one man, one lawyer, who insisted that Muslim majority areas should be separated, and that was Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was a highly educated, highly successful lawyer, and he led a very peaceful struggle towards his goal. He founded a party in 1906 and at last achieved his goal in 1947, along with Gandhi, Nehru, and a lot of other leaders. Emancipation from British Raj. Not only there were dozens of leaders accompanying Quaid-e-Azam, or Muhammad Ali Jinnah, as he's affectionately called, in this journey, there was his sister by his side. She eschewed all pleasures of life to be at the side of her brother. And when Muhammad Ali Jinnah passed away in 1948, his beloved land was taken over by militaristic forces that were the remnants of the British imperial rule. And guess who stood up to resist against those forces? This very lady, despite her failing health, despite being ridiculed for being a woman, despite being insulted and abused by the establishment, she made her name in Pakistani people. She went to the extent of directly challenging a military dictator in presidential election in early 1960s. And she lost, but not due to a lack of popularity. A few weeks later, her health failed completely and she passed away. But she laid the foundation of a glorious tradition of female political leaders in the subcontinent. And if you recall, the Indian subcontinent has been a pioneer in that area. All these ladies, they had fire in their bellies. They were abused. They were suppressed. They were discriminated against again and again. And that has been happening throughout humanity's history against every people. But what counts is how do people react? As a retaliation to oppression, some people set fire to cities. Some people started wars. Some people planted hatred against a certain religious sect, against a certain skin color, against a certain background of people, and that lives to this day. Some people's very lives depend on selling hate. And these are the people who cause wars and result in deaths of millions, if not billions. Whereas, can anyone tell me, these 4 ladies that I told you about, how many people did they kill? Exactly 0. They were suppressed, they were oppressed, but they got even. They did not go out on killing sprees. They did not set fire to the world. Instead, they took the fire inside them and became torches, became fireflies. And in their light, humanity has forever been journeying towards making this world a better place. The difference couldn't be starker. And even today, who binds our families? Who deserves the coveted title of homemaker, no matter what we do towards contributing in household chores? It's the women. Because they have certain attributes that men don't have. Tolerance, maternal instinct, a desire to create, a desire to build. I believe that God is the ultimate creator and God is also merciful, but also females, women are his perfect proxies on earth. So women of the world, today I say this to you. Thank you for saving us from ourselves. Thank you for keeping us sane. Thank you for your tolerance, your dignity, your grace. Thank you for your creative instinct. Thank you for building this world for us. And thank you for being there always. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you very much for that speech, Talham. And the next item on the agenda is our Vice President of Education will announce next meeting's role opportunities and member achievements. I give you the Vice President of Education.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Did we put that there? There's a Q&A section for the keynote. I'm so sorry, Victor. Where I'm going to facilitate some questions and answer from the audience, and they can post it in the chat. So can we have that?
In the invisible ink, we are now going to add an item to the agenda. And that item means that our president, Cynthia, will moderate a question and answer period, and we know that you will enjoy it. I give you Cynthia Stott.
Thank you so much.
Cynthia, how long on the timer for the Q&A?
It's 5 minutes, and there's no evaluation of the keynote speaker. So we don't have a minute of silence. So we don't have anything. So I'm going to disappear here again and ask these questions, and you can go ahead and put your questions and your comments in here.
So you just need to be spotlighted, Cynthia? Okay.
No, just Victor is spotlight, please. Thank
No,
you.
Not Victor, Khalid.
I mean, yes, Taha. Okay, great. So I'm going to read these questions and answers. Well, Tala's going to provide the answers. So, okay. So, first of all, was my response was I had no idea about Madame Curie and all that she learned. She earned another Nobel Prize. That was just phenomenal to me. Here's a question from Kimmy Avery. What impact did your research on these women have on you? Oh, good question.
Well, thank you so much for that question. I must admit that I was very familiar with most of these women. And in fact, the original draft of the speech contained a profile of about 6 women. But I had to curtail it in the interest of audience interest and also duration. So I was most stunned by, as someone also pointed out, by Madame Curie, because I didn't know also that she got a second Nobel Prize. All I knew about her from my days back in school was that she virtually sacrificed her life by researching on radiation. I did not know the dimensions of the social struggle that she faced. And similarly, and I'm ashamed slightly to admit that my research into Katherine Johnson is a result of a movie that I saw, which is called Hidden Figures. And that is, I believe, one of my all-time favorite movies. So anybody listening, please watch this movie, Hidden Figures. And then I researched on Katherine Johnson further. And I was amazed to see that, this lady had achieved so much and so quietly. I still believe that she's not quite celebrated as much as she should be, because the way she contributed to the US space program and the way she beat the odds, the way she beat discrimination is just exemplary. So the more I researched, the more I looked into contribution of women, the more I leaned towards my final remarks that not only women make the world a better place, but they save us from ourselves.
Beautiful. And then Agha Fasel, I'm sorry if I mutilated that name, says nice speech and gave you a couple of claps. You've got to save this to this chat so you can see all these. And Hina also said wonderful speech. And Lynn Fraley said wonderful speech. Thanks so much. And then Kimmy had another question. How do you see yourself helping to change the culture in your country? Not really sure.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I believe the culture needs to change across the world and not just in my country.
Yes.
There's so much hidden discrimination everywhere. Sometimes it's overt, sometimes it's covert. And sometimes you find examples of precisely the opposite in the places you least expect. For example, in my country, there are women who are running households. There are women who have the final authority in all decisions. They are the central point of the family as well. So yes, we have those situations. We had one of the first women prime ministers ever. And before that, as I cited, we had Fatma Jinnah, who went against in elections. And imagine in that day and age, going against a military leader, what kind of risks that do you have? We've all seen that military leaders go to any lengths to suppress their opponents, and the guy did, but she fought back. So I believe that by continuously by continuing on this journey to highlight the contribution of women and how they have contributed, more importantly, I believe slowly and gradually we can start making people see the reality.
Absolutely. And we had just a couple more questions, but answer them briefly because we're ready to go. What took you down this path to select these 4 in particular? Which are the 2 you left out?
Okay, I won't answer. Okay, I will answer. The one of the women I left out was my own mother, and there was another woman that I left out, which was an ex-Sri Lankan Prime Minister, Bindra Naike. And what led me down the path? Because first of all, I should thank DT and Cynthia that she asked me to deliver this keynote at this occasion of Women's History Month. And I must admit that that really allowed me to look at the world from a different perspective, which I believe you can sense in my speech too. So yeah, that's the simple reason I went down this path.
Okay, and one last question was, religion aside, how much should men, this comes from Hina, how much should men respect women? And we have to do quickly so that we can get on.
Okay, the thing I'd love most is to pass this question, but okay, because of the potential pitfalls it has. But I appreciate the question, and I really appreciate the intellectual challenge in it. First of all, I believe that respect and courtesy sometimes, and you know, it depends from person to person. For example, there's a great debate about holding a door for a woman, right? These days, especially, some women find it offensive and patronizing, and some women expect it as part of chivalry, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot apply the same rules to every man and woman. We have to respect the preferences. So my answer would be to find out what that particular woman finds respectful and pleasant and do accordingly.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Talha. You have crossed that razor's edge, and so appreciate you. Great. So back to our wonderful Toastmaster, Victor Jenkins.
And if you're following along in the agenda, you'll see what the next item on the agenda is, and that's a break. I want to stress that the agenda is our guidelines of how we do meetings, and being flexible is one of the mainstays of a Toastmaster. So if we should do something that's not on the agenda, don't hold it against us, but we will have you in and out, sticking as close to the agenda as possible. So beginning right now, we are going to take a break, and however that is done, the person that's handling this video will do it. And the timer will time the break. President, how much time do we get for a break?
5 minutes, please.
5 minutes from now, we'll see you back here with the Zoom Master.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Should I pause?
Enjoy your break.
Should I pause the recording?
Yes.
We would really appreciate you signing that, and then we can keep you informed about next opportunities. And I do want to say that next week we don't meet because that's the 5th Monday of the month, and we don't meet any times on the 5th Monday of the month. Excuse me. And the first Monday in April, we're going to have Sarah Khan, who's a Toastmaster celebrity. If any of you might know her, she has been on the cover of Toastmasters magazine. She was in an article listing the top 5 inspiring women in the world for International Women's Day. She's been on Forbes magazine in an article, and her TED Talk just went to 20,000 views. She's just an amazing woman, Sarah Khan, and she calls herself a peacemonger, which is the opposite of a fearmonger or a warmonger. She wages peace. So she's just an amazing woman. She was born in India, Mumbai, India. She's a Muslim, and she lives in Los Angeles now in America. Okay, please explain what takes place in the breakout rooms. Oh, yes. So the breakout rooms are for our level 1 and level 2 speeches to be spoken. They can be from advanced speakers or some of our brand new speakers. And so it's a mixture. It's an example of what you could do in a Toastmasters club to incorporate a Speechcraft, because Speechcraft is like an 8-week program that introduces new Toastmasters and speakers to speaking and to Toastmasters. And you can absolutely join that if you would like to see how it's done. We regularly do a Speechcraft breakout rooms on every one of our meetings. We've officially completed our 8-week program that includes training and speaking, and now they're just speaking in the rooms. And we have a mixture of very advanced speakers, like Linda Patton will be speaking, and Patricia Monse-Larke will be speaking. And we also have brand new speakers that will be speaking, or fairly new. They're still working on their level 1. So it should be a really great time.
So if you'd like to go, I can put you in a room, Talisa, if you'd like. Just let me know. And if there's anyone else who'd like to see what a Speechcraft is and to experience some really powerful speakers, Patricia Monse-Larke is going to be speaking. Tawfiq Kader is going to be speaking, and it would be awesome to have you. And Mohammed, you raised your hand.
Yes, I would like to go into the Speechcraft, Madam Linda.
Do you have a preference as to which one?
Speechcraft.
Okay. No, okay. I know where I'm going to put you.
And looks like our break is over. We should be putting the people in the breakout rooms now.
They're already in, unless there are others.
Yay!
I'm now asking to go to the breakout room. Frederica.
I'm sorry, Frederica, you want to go in one?
Yes.
Great.
Please.
And Hannah. Okay, anyone else?
I don't see that you put me into one, Linda. Or did
You're
I
in
miss?
room 1. I haven't sent you yet.
All right.
I think I'm supposed to be in a breakout room, right?
Yes, and I have you in one.
She's working on it.
Trust the process, Deb.
Just want to make sure I didn't get left behind.
No, never.
Wouldn't
No.
leave you behind.
I start setting the breakout rooms as soon as we open the meeting, but you don't get to go there until Kimmy says it's time for us to go to the breakout rooms.
Yes.
And Tawfiq,
And Hina would like to go too.
I know I've already got her, and I've
Okay.
also got Frederica. Tawfiq,
Yes, please.
would you record in your breakout room, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Okay. Are we ready? Kimmy,
Yes, I'm back.
are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open the rooms now.
Make sure everybody's gone. And Kimmy, can you confirm that they've all gone?
What?
I don't know if I gave my evaluation form to.
I can't quite tell I don't know how to tell if people have gone.
Am I evaluating you, Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already downloaded the form. No worries.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you so much. It's inspire your audience. Great.
I think everybody's gone.
Okay. Okay. So back to our Toastmaster.
Welcome back to the main session, ladies and gentlemen. And we have one speaker going forward. And before we get to that speaker, I would like Talha bin Hamid to give us the particulars of our next speaker. Talha, it's on you, brother.
Oh, no. This is my.
Unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, just a little clarification, DTM Cynthia. What precisely is the project? Because I gathered from the name that you were actually recapping your Pathways journey, but
You're absolutely right. I misspoke. And it is 10 to 12 minutes. It's a longer speech,
Yeah,
10
yeah,
to
yeah.
12 minutes, and it's
Yeah.
my Pathways journey. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure. Thank you so much. It's nice to see that my hunch was right. Okay, so so first of all, DTM Cynthia Stott. If you don't know her by now, I have just one question. Which rock were you living under so far? DTM Cynthia is the president of Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. She is an exceptionally active Toastmaster. She is a kind and gentle and cooperative soul, I know from personal experience. And not only that, she is a very, very spiritual person. So today, DTM Cynthia Stott will be reflecting upon her path. The completion of a pathway is a memorable occasion for all of us. And no matter how many times we do it, it always brings a sense of achievement. So the purpose of this project is for the member to reflect on his or her growth during the completion of an entire path. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her growth during the completion of a path. And for the life of me, I cannot differ between these two statements, but as a matter of duty, I have to recite them. So everyone, please put your hands together for DTM Cynthia Stott, My Pathways Journey, DTM Cynthia Stott.
Thank you, Tala. Well, I was thinking about this morning about my journey, and I realized that my Pathways journey is actually a big part of my journey in life. So Pathways began in June 2018, but in District 57, the district that Leaders Worldwide is in, it began in February 2017 because we were the first district to try out Pathways. We were the some people get offended by this guinea pig. It's an experimental animal so that we could test out how Pathways was. And we were the only district in the whole world to join Pathways in February 2017. And my journey with Pathways actually started before that, because in December 2017 at Heart to Heart, which is our mother or sister club, we needed 8 people to join in order to become President's Distinguished. 8 people, or even any distinguished. We were ready to be President's Distinguished, but to even become any distinguished, we needed 8 members. And I racked my brain and I prayed a lot. And I was inspired to start our first Speechcraft. And when I offered that Speechcraft, our guest was none other than Dr. Michelle Peticolis. And I said to her, well, if you join now, then you can be a part of this Speechcraft, which was an all-day training. We were doing it separately. It was all-day training at a beautiful estate in Danville. And we would get that as a bonus to your membership. So that's number 1. And number 2, I told her that Pathways was going to be coming on in February. And if she joined after February, then she would be forced to be on Pathways. But if she joined before that, she could choose either Pathways or the Legacy program. And I said, I'm sure Pathways is going to be great, but I don't know what it is. So I do know that the Legacy program is awesome. So you should join now. So she joined and 7 other people joined because we had this Speechcraft and because they could join before Pathways. Well, as I progressed along in Pathways, I chose the presentation mastery path. And to me, that's like a beginning class. It's what you really want to, if you really want to focus on speaking, then that is a path for you. And that's one I recommend a lot to our new members and people that really are focused on speaking. And what I loved about it is that it gave me an opportunity to practice many things, like the level ones and all level ones, no matter what your path is. You speak your icebreaker, which is just about you, and then you speak a 5 to 7 minute speech on any topic, get evaluated, and you give that same speech again. You can give another one, but it's really highly encouraged to do the same speech again. And then you can give a research speech where you add statistics and quotes. And I actually tell my clients that are Toastmasters that they should use the same speech, their signature speech that they're developing, in that first 5 to 7 minute speech, and the next one, and the research speech, and even in the body language that they're doing later on. So I love, love, love that path. And I also joined, before COVID, this was back in 2018, I joined another club that was based in Los Angeles, and I joined via Zoom all the time. And that was amazing because I could speak more of my speeches because we met twice a month, and Heart to Heart only met once a month. So I was doing it almost 3 weeks out of the month. And so I was able to progress through those. Plus, they did a special, they just let me speak a lot because there was a lot of people that were afraid to speak and were nervous about speaking. So I got a lot of speaking opportunities. Whereas Heart to Heart, we have amazing entrepreneurial, mostly women, and they always love to speak. So it's hard to get a spot. And that's why we're adding another week of a meeting where you can have more. We'll have 3 speakers that can speak because they do a thing called headliners, but that's for another day. And then I wanted to do managing a difficult audience. And that's something that's very hard to do in a regular meeting because it is about 20 minutes it takes, 15 to 20 minutes. And a lot of meetings, you just don't have the time or space for that. And it was really great because I also got support. So I did that in the Speechcraft, one of the early ones that we had in person. Wasn't in person. That's right. It was on Zoom. So it must have been the 3rd Speechcraft that we did. And you have all these disruptors and things going on. And it was really great to have the support of a team to put that together and do that for me. Then I had an opportunity to do an HPL, which is a high performance leadership project. And that was absolutely amazing. It's a chance to create a guidance committee that's sort of like your board of directors that will really help guide you through your project. And I love that. And my project was actually on Meetup, which is a platform for social media, and getting all of our clubs, as many as possible, on Meetup. And it actually went, I'm an overachiever. It ended up being a high performance leadership with 10 high performance leaderships underneath it, because we had 9 divisions and I got 9 people to coordinate an HPL under them so that all of their clubs would be encouraged to get on. And then I had a high performance leadership for the training aspect of it. And that's when Dr. Michelle Pedicolis was a part of the training HPL. And she did these amazing videos that really helped people to understand how to get on. So I learned so much through this process of pathways, not only speaking and different ways that you speak. I did a panel discussion and not a panel discussion. I did a question and answer session, like the keynote that Tala did today, where you have questions and answers that really challenge you. Like if you saw today, Tala was challenged by a question, but he was able to step up and answer it. And what I found when I did mine was I found that I went deeper with my own work, because what I was talking about was the 4 elements of a world champion speech, which was is my program. And when people ask more deep questions about it, I was able to answer them and really see from a different perspective. Because sometimes when it's our own program or our own work that we're speaking about, we have our own focus. We have our own view of it, like an elephant, you know? Five blind people go to describe an elephant. Each one has a different part. They have a tail, or a trunk, or a leg. And it seems like it's even a different animal, but it is all together. So I really appreciated being able to see my work even from a very different perspective. And that's the thing that I love about Pathways and the process that you go through, because you always get a different chance to see, how can I speak about this differently? Like when you're looking at body language is your goal for your project. You look at more how you can animate yourself and have a great body language. And one of my members at Heart to Heart was an amazing woman that was an animal intuitive. And she was a good speaker and it was great, but she was not gregarious. She was not with big gestures. She was more timid. And when she gave her body language, she had huge gestures about the elephants that she talked with in the zoo, and the lions and the tigers. And she used the whole stage. It was just absolutely amazing. So that's what I really love about Pathways, and how it can help us to stretch ourselves and to try something different. Because Toastmasters, to me, is about a place where you can experience quote failure or mistakes, and you can stretch, you can try it, you can see what happens, you can throw that spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. You don't know what you are capable of if you don't go to the edge. Like in yoga, there's a principle that you push yourself to the edge, so you find out where your edge is, and then you can come back a little bit, being compassionate with yourself. If you don't push yourself, you'll never know. And for me, like Leaders Worldwide was a huge push for me to make this amazing global club that, to be honest, I never envisioned. I was guided by God. I always say the founder of this club is not me, but God, because God really saw that possibilities of a global club and sees, I think, even more of what we're going to be later on, but dropped me little breadcrumbs along the way so I could understand and I could follow. And one of the breadcrumbs that he tossed to me early on, he said, Cynthia, I don't care what you do, but you need to stick with Toastmasters. You need to stick with Heart to Heart Toastmasters. And that direction opened up a world, literally a world of possibilities. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you ever so much. And will the timer please block off 1 minute of silence for the evaluator and for everyone else who needs a minute of silence. If you have the mind to, you can send a message or a chat or something to our speaker if you want. I'll be back at the end of the minute. And thank you very much for that minute of silence. Let me remind everyone that the meeting today, our theme is Women's History Month. So keep that in mind for today and throughout the rest of the month, that is our theme. We've now completed the evaluatory portion of our meeting, and now we are going to move on to have someone moderate the impromptu speaking part of our meeting. I give you our table topics master, none other than Kathleen Peel. Let's welcome Kathleen.
Hi, everyone. Table Topics is a fun, safe, impromptu speaking session where we spend 1 to 2 minutes responding to a prompt question. And I'm going to call on you or you to participate, and you can decline, and then I'll move on. So it's safe either way. The word of today is empowerment. So you get a gold ring if you can remember to use empowerment in your little talk. And to me, real empowerment is not achieved without the strengthening of the greater good. And so, with that in mind, Linda Adhu, would you like to respond to the question? And the question is, Linda Adhu. Or how about Talisa Thomas? Talisa.
Yes, thank you.
Hi there. Tell us about a woman who helped you to grow, and how does she help you to empowerment? 1 to 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. You are going to need an attaché case, and you are going to need a good business suit. And here's your first lipstick. That, fellow Toastmasters, was the advice to me as a sophomore in high school from my big sister, who was 4 years older. And she became my mentor, the person who empowered me to be the woman that I am today, because she always spoke my future into the present. We as women have that ability to empower each other. Look at the potential in this very room today. We heard about great women, some that we might find untouchable. However, in our own world, in our own sphere of power, we are empowered to have an impact, to encourage, to educate, to motivate, to inspire, and to make a difference in someone's life. It starts with one person. Maybe we can't change the world, but we can make a difference in someone else's world. Madam Table Topics Master.
If I were responding to that question, I would say Talisa Thomas is my inspiring woman. And Jake Chashinsky, tell us, how do you like to help people to grow? How do you help people to empowerment?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. That's a fun question. It starts with being myself. And I know that could sound egotistical, but the fact is that as leaders, we model the way. We need to walk the walk. We need to let others see exactly what it is to be a leader. And here at Toastmasters, as we learn to be leaders, we need to walk outside of these meetings and we need to communicate just what it is to be a leader. So what is that, right? What is it to be a leader? It's to be a visionary. It is to, as in leadership, lead. It is to show a path, like pathways, and to help others embrace that path. Then empower those people to embrace the path, encourage them to use their gifts, encourage them to take and embrace development. Development in saying, you can do this. Yes, you have strengths, and you have the strength to go the next level, one step at a time. That's what we do as leaders, to empower. I wake up in the morning and I say, what is your purpose, Jake? And are you living it? My purpose is to help others to lead their best life. Lead yourself, be the CEO in your life. And that's who I am. That's what I live for. And when I can see other people around me growing in that same way, that is what I live for. That's when I see others alive. And that is why I'm so jazzed right now, knowing that I was able to share that with all of you. Madam Table Topics Master.
Beautiful, beautiful. It wakes up that desire that I think so many of us have to help each other. Rosalind Khan, how do you find receiving mentorship or help or inspiration from others to empower you? How is it the same as how you like to help others to empowerment?
Well, Madam Table Topics Master, thank you so much for asking me that very beautiful question. When I think of great and dear mentors of my life, the first person I think of in my life is one of my first life coaches. His name was Daniel Ponke. He's now resting in heaven. And he always would tell me that you always have the great gifts inside of you. There's nothing that I have that I can bestow upon you that you don't already have. And when I think about him, I think about our lovely Toastmaster and our president in this club, Symphony Stoddard, and she and I had done some work together. And I remember that call that she gave me and said, "You can do this, Rosalind. This is absolutely amazing. I'm already in 2 clubs, and this is my 3rd club. But you know, each club has its own unique personality. I have a new person I'm working with, and every day I call her and I say, you know, there's a meeting you got to go to. You got to go to this meeting, and you got to go to that meeting, and you got to go to this meeting, and you got to go to that meeting, because, you know, life is full of opportunities. And as one of my former students said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know when you open it up what is on the other side. And so I just want to thank the mentors in my life who've opened up the doors for me, and so grateful that I can open up the doors and other people along my path. And thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master, for asking me that question. Thank you.
How sweet. Life is a box of chocolates. Jay Lita, would you like to tell us about a woman or not, a mentor or an inspiration who helped you to empowerment?
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests who are still here who didn't make it to the breakout room, welcome everybody. Tell you about a woman that has inspired me. A woman? I have a list like very long. I actually wrote it down one day, and as I was going through the list in my mind, since Kathleen first posed this question to one of our members, I got to Zoe Hare, who was my best friend in college. So let me tell you about Zoe. Zoe was my brother's girlfriend at the time. My brother had left for a year of school exchange in Taiwan to teach English over there. About the same time, I went to school at the school that he and she were going to. So kind of left each other in each other's care. And since he was my she was my brother's girlfriend, there was not a romantic question in mind, so we could just focus on friendship and connection between each other. She was one of the first persons to recognize some of the talents I had and point them out so that I saw them as well. One of those was a talent for photography. She noticed my photos and she said, "You have a really good eye," and encouraged me to continue on that as a hobby, which I've been doing all my life. Thousands of photos that I've taken just for fun, just for fun. And of course, I went from a SLR camera to my cell phone that I have all the time, and I can just snap pictures whenever I want now and toss them out if they're no good. She also recognized my intellectual abilities, that I have a great talent for synthesizing a great deal of information. And she encouraged and helped me to write my senior project. We spent hours and hours going through information. And at the end, as I graduated, she told my family, "Jay doesn't know this yet, but I'm his #1 fan." How great it is to have somebody say that. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Wow, how very sweet. How very close. All of these stories have told me that we are not alone. And I think that a lot of the hostility and fractures in the world come from believing that we're alone. So thank you all for reminding me of how close we are and how close we can be. It's time to move on. So I will hand the control back to the Toastmaster, Mr. Victor Irving Jenkins.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen, for that wonderful table topics segment. We now move to the portion of the meeting where the general evaluator will be in control of the next bit of activity. And once again, I remind you, the theme for our meeting is Women's History Month. And now to present to you another woman, I give you the general evaluator, Rosalind Ann Kahn. Welcome, Rosalind.
Pleasure and honor to be with you all here today. And you know, there isn't a meeting unless we take a stop and we look back and we say, what are our virtues and how can we take them to the next level? So first and foremost, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Talid to give us an evaluation of Cynthia and let us know how Cynthia did on her presentation. Talid?
Okay, so who is, you mean Tala?
Tala.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Tala.
You're up.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And today I have the difficult task of evaluating another woman who had an amazing journey, DTM Cynthia Stott. DTM Cynthia, I'll try my best to do justice to your speech, but please don't expect miracles. You started with self-deprecating humor about being guinea pigs for pathways. Congratulations. Now the whole Toastmasters community is part of that program along with you. So that is the surest way to connect to an audience. So congratulations on doing that. You had confidence in spades. You had superb eye contact and sincerity. Someday I'll ask you, how do you make that eye contact with the camera? Because it was as if you were sitting right there. You have good setup and background as always. And I loved how your speech transitioned from a fairly business-like recap of a pathway to more of a fairy tale in the end. And by that, I mean that you started by recapping your levels and projects in a very, very I would say, impersonal manner, which is not really characteristic of you, because I believe you wanted to get the information out, which was very valuable for all of us, by the way, and it can be an excellent advertisement for Pathways itself. You highlighted some of the brilliant aspects of the Pathways, which is a variety of projects, a variety of things that we can do, and opportunity to do the same things in different ways again and again. Uh, you use some really good expressions, and that's when your true self emerged towards the end of the speech. Hard to get a spot, deeper in my own work, throw that spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. I love that. I haven't heard spaghetti being used with that expression previously, and breadcrumbs along the way. So yeah, in the end it turned out a fantastic fairy tale. I love the idea of your HPL, which is very inspiring. And so those were the positive aspects. Some of the improvement areas I would suggest is that, first of all, you are stifled by your framing. We don't get to see more of you. You're very close to the camera. So you have to deliver a whole body's worth of gestures and expressions just through your face, which you do superbly. But we would love it, I would love it, if you could see more of you, more of your gestures. It would add a little bit of authority to your delivery too. And secondly, a slight lack of vocal variety sometimes, just because of, again, sitting too close to the camera, sounded more like a fireside chat at times than a speech. But again, that's, I believe, what it was intended. It was very soothing to me. So just to recap, brilliantly fulfilled objectives of the project. And just if you could improve your setup a little bit more to give a more widescreen view and give more space to your gestures, that would be amazing. Over to you, Journal Evaluator.
Wow, that was amazing. Not only a speaker, but a great evaluator. And thank you so much for that. I'm going to call on my functionaries for their input. And I'd like to call on Sally for our update on the ums, the ahs, the oohs, and the ahs.
Thank you so much. Well, we have used, Tala used our word of the day 3 times. Oh, no, excuse, so 3 times, and 1 empowered. Talisa, 3 times empowered. Kathleen is 4 times empowered. Tafiq, 7 ahs. Competing a little with Cynthia, who used 12 ahs. And I didn't hear empower. And I think that's the words of the day. Let's see, we have Jake, empower twice. That's it. Okay. Thank you very much. That's what we've covered today.
Beautiful, and thank you so much. And the next person I'd like to go ahead and call on is our timer, Isaac.
Great, okay. For the times this today, Tala actually spoke 3 times. So on his speech, it was 14 minutes and 40 seconds. The Q&A section was 6:38. And on the evaluation of Cynthia, it was 3:39. And then the table topics, we had Jay at 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Jake at 1 minute, 57 seconds. Rosalind at 1 minute, 17 seconds. And Talisa at 1 minute, 32 seconds. And Talon, when he, actually, I think and Cynthia, on her speech, it was 12 minutes and 26 seconds. I think that is all I have. Okay, back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you so much for our timer. Thank you so much for our counter. And just want to give you just a couple little moments of inspiration on our meeting today. You know, it's always fun coming to these meetings, and there's the oops and the ums and the ahs and the e's and the i's and the o's and the oohs of these little changes and modifications. And I would just say it would be helpful if everyone the night before confirm that they're going to be there. Because I'm going to be honest, it seems almost every time I come, there's a number of changes. And I know that things always do go ahead and come up. But if we think of our life as like our experience in Toastmasters, if you don't show up to your job, what do they think about you? If you don't show up to your family occasions, what do they say to you? And there's always first impressions and last impressions. And, you know, one thing that people always tell me about myself is if Rosalind says she's going to do something, she does it. And I sometimes have a hard time when other people don't do what they're supposed to do. But I think if we all went ahead and did that, but what I know and I love about our group is how we all jump in to help one another out. If there's someone in a time of need, there isn't a person in this club who won't jump in and say, I can help, I can help, I can help. And I think that's what really makes this group so spectacular and special. So we started on time, we're ending pretty much on time, and I want to give it back to our Toastmaster so he can help us end on time. That's my report, and that's a wrap. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
And I thank you as well. It's been a grand meeting with the theme Women's History Month. We got to speak from a lot of women today, which I always appreciate. You know, I spent many years as a registered nurse, and that's a female-dominated profession. So I am thoroughly familiar with the whole idea of women and their history and their benefit to society. And I married one too, so there you have it, right? And according to our agenda, I do believe I'm going to finalize my remarks and give the lectern to the Vice President of Education, none other than another woman, Kathleen Peel. Take it away, Kathleen. Oh, bye. Thank you for allowing me to moderate and MC your meeting today. I look forward to the next role I'm going to take in Leaders Worldwide.
And Victor, we've been so efficient in keeping on our time that we might have time at the end. And I would love to ask you a table topics question, should we end up with that opportunity.
No, we won't.
We won't?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're running behind. We need to be
Are we?
moving quickly. Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I've just posted in the chat the list of roles that you can volunteer for. We need a couple of evaluators and a table topics master and a timer and a general evaluator, greeters, the Zoom masters. And I would like to ask, does anybody feel like stepping up?
I'll do your table topics next meeting.
All righty. Good. Thank you, Victor. And evaluations are a fun exercise, and they're a bit of a challenge for me. I learn a lot every time I step up for one. Would anyone like to exercise their evaluator wings?
And which week is this that we're talking about?
This is the 12th of April.
Of April, because the 5th of April, we already have everything filled.
Right. Yeah. So the next afternoon for us, it's like, what is that? That's 6 o'clock standard GMT time.
And it's 11 to 1 Pacific/San Francisco time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next meeting is going to be on the 11th, right?
The 12th.
12th.
In California time. That may be the 13th in Pakistan.
Yes, you're right.
And in this very time slot, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Okay, so I can-
actually,
I-
it would be the 13th, wouldn't it, Tala?
Yeah.
But it's the same
Yeah.
time now. Yeah.
It's the time that matters. So yeah, I can take up any role that you assign me.
Oh, wonderful. Give us another evaluation. Is that okay?
Fine. I would
Wonderful,
love to.
thank you.
And do we have a Toastmaster already?
I think we did. Yes, well, Emmanuel, we want,
Yes, Emmanuel. Yes, please. Yeah, that would be great.
yeah. We'll have to confirm, but we have high hopes.
Great. Okay, and so Tala's an evaluator, and the table talk is already taken. How about timer?
Oh, I was going to offer to be, this is Kimmy, and I can offer to be the grammarian.
Oh, how
Great,
generous,
great.
and we really appreciate your talents there.
Anyone for timer?
Yeah, I can do it again if you.
Thank
Isaac?
you.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Isaac. That's a really important role.
Yeah.
And general evaluator, do we get anybody yet for that?
We want one.
And greeters, and this is a really wonderful opportunity for visibility. It means you come on the half hour before. So it'd be 10:30 to 11 a.m. Pacific San Francisco time. And it's a chance for you to invite our guests, to welcome our guests, to ask them to post, to sign our guest registry, and also to post where they're from. Like today, we got two new countries. We got Maldives and we got Dubai. So it's great. The only way we know that is by them posting it in the chat. So it's really important that our guests post in the chat. Okay. And anything else we need? We didn't get a general
Okay,
evaluator.
who's Zoom proficient and likes to hit Zoom bombers hard?
We need
Let's
some
get 'em.
combat training from Linda Patton on that. You know, we had 18 Zoom bombers one time and she got rid of them in 3 minutes. She's amazing. She's a former US Army major and she's just combat ready. Anybody else want to step? And we do have training for that. We get it from the UK. We have the Zoom Academy. We can get you training for that. So I think that's pretty good. Well,
I wonder, Ms. Sally Reyes, would you care to do an evaluation?
Well, I have to do I think I have a speaker coming.
Okay, I didn't check on that. Thank you. Thank you. Good for
Okay.
you.
Can you post your email in the chat so that people can follow up with you by email?
Never works, but
Yeah.
you haven't realized that.
Yeah. Well, we need to move on.
Okay.
So, yeah, please email Kathleen and let her know what role you would like to take. And you can always email her at.
You know what? I said it never works, but I shouldn't say that. Please use it.
Yeah, and I know it works because I've checked and you've been posting some people and I didn't. So it definitely works. Okay. So now is the time we're going to talk about, we have announcements in a few minutes, but we'd like to talk about takeaways and chocolate. So whether you're a guest or a member, but especially we like to hear from our guests, what are you taking away from today? What are you taking with you back to your home club? Or if you're never been a Toastmaster, maybe this is the first meeting you've ever been at Toastmasters. What are you taking home with you? And then we will reward you for talking by giving you a virtual chocolate, which is so great because there's no calories, there's no sugar, and you get to choose your favorite flavor. So who has a a takeaway to share. And I don't know if Linda's here, Taufik is here, or Mohammed. Kathleen, can you see who's raising their hands? Because I can't see. Or just unmute your mic if you want to speak.
Jay has raised his hand.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Hi, Jay.
Hello. I just wanted to say I appreciated the opportunity to participate in table topics. I have been not as available as I would have liked to with this club meeting on Mondays. My life is just too crazy and I can't really commit, but I'm happy to come when I can. And also I don't want to commit to a role because I don't know if I'll be able to make the meeting. But when I'm here, if I'm here, I'm happy to step into a role that's needed. And of course, table topic speaker is one of those roles. So I appreciate this club and the international membership, and I wish I could be a little bit more involved, but I'm going to be as much as I can be. So table topics today, thank you for calling on me. Back to you.
Great. Great. And would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes. Choo!
Got it.
Okay, and we had from the chat, we had Deb Peretz who said, what a great breakout room experience. And Deb, would you like to unmute your mic and tell us about it?
Well, we had 3 great speeches, and we even managed to have a table topic, and it was just so interesting. And I love learning about, people bring a personal perspective into the talk. So it's really nice.
Awesome. And Taufik said we went to a different planet.
Well, when I'm there, yes.
Great, great. And would you like a chocolate? Deb.
I'm sorry, Cynthia, but virtual chocolates just don't do it for me.
Aw.
I need the real thing.
You need the real thing. I tell you, me too. I love chocolate. That's my favorite thing.
Thanks for offering.
You're welcome. And Taufik, do you want us to tell us about your interplanetary visitation during the breakout session?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. We had all the different experiences and we visualized something different. So it was wonderful.
Oh, great. And would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, something with delicious, something outstanding with some nuts.
Mm. You can have exactly what you want. Here it comes. Woohoo! Great. And Linda, do we have anyone else raising their hand, especially our guests? I'd love to hear our guests say what they're taking away with them.
Talisa?
Talisa. Hi, Talisa. What are you taking
Hello.
away?
Oh, wonderful. I am taking away this wonderful idea of the breakout rooms to do speechcraft. I love that idea. I'm a member of several clubs. We've never done that or anything close to that. And I'm in the process of forming a new advanced club, and I think I'm going to borrow that idea for the club. Thank you.
Great.
And Talisa, if you'd like any support in creating this, both Jay and I have done, well, and Cynthia as well, have done 4, and we're actually writing up the last sort of the whole journey. But I know any one of us would be more than happy to answer your questions, get you started, whatever it might be. So I'll put my email in the chat.
Please
Awesome.
do. I would love help. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And anyone else with their hands raised? Oh, would you like a chocolate?
I would. I would.
Okay, what's your favorite flavor of chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay, here it comes. Woohoo!
Ooh, look at that. It's in the form of a chocolate chip cookie. My favorite. Thank you.
And
I love it. Great. And anyone else want to share?
No, but I'm going to ask Jake to share. She has this wonderful piece of bread and it says Masters in front of it. So Jake, tell us.
That's toast. That's toast.
Toastmasters. I got it.
That's lovely. Jake, what are you taking away today?
You know what? This was my first visit here. What positive energy that everybody has. Whenever you have lots of laughter, that's fantastic. And it was fun. I would love to have heard in the evaluator definitely comment on the table topics master. It was Kathleen when she was perfect transitions as table topics master, not too long, made the last speaker feel wonderful, always said thank you as we do to our speakers and transitioned on to the next person. So it was lovely to hear table topics done so well and gracefully. So that was just another part of any time I get to be in a part of a meeting and hear one particular part to stand out. That was lovely.
Great. Yes, Kathleen is amazing. And she did a great job at active listening and reflecting back to the speakers in between. Great. Would you like a chocolate?
Yes.
Okay. Here it
And I want a little sea salt on it, please.
So, how about Himalayan sea salt?
There you go. I'll take it.
Himalayan
There you go.
pink sea salt.
Thank you.
Cynthia, so do you want to move on to role players for next time?
We finished that already. We
Oh.
finished that already.
We do have a couple of spots in case anyone who had been having their outer space experience would like to volunteer. We need greeters and Zoom co-hosts in particular. So those
And
who are
this is for April 12th at the same time.
right, yeah. Anyone interested?
Probably Taufik will be one of them. Is that right?
Ever ready, but what is the timing?
It's the same time.
Yeah, this is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Great. And Mohammed, is he still here?
Mohammed's still here.
Yes, I am here.
Can you be one of our greeters or Zoom
Yes.
hosts?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
And Taufik, I didn't catch. Do you want to be a Zoomer or a greeter?
Zoom host.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You support Linda. I'm in
Yes.
Linda's team.
Yes, he's one of my favorite members of my team.
Oh, how nice. Oh,
Because he
he's
anticipates.
one of everybody's favorites wherever he goes.
He
Isn't it
anticipates
true?
what I need. I love that.
Wow,
Yes.
Taufik, you are famous in the world now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Rosalind Khan, for coming. You really brought a great contribution.
Well, it was wonderful to
And
be
depth
here
for
with
it.
you all. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. See
Thank
you all
you.
later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye
Catherine,
now.
this is Kimmy. I could be a greeter also. As
Oh,
well.
thank you.
Yay.
You're so kind. Thank you, Kimmy.
My pleasure.
And that's one of those roles that you can take in addition to something else, which
That's
is
right.
really great because it's before.
Yeah.
Okay. And then announcements. Let's see. Well,
Did I see a hand from Lynn?
Yes.
Really?
Would you
You did it,
unmute
Lynn.
yourself?
I know lip reading is just a bore on Zoom.
I know.
I wanted to thank Talisa for remarking on what is an exceptional quality of this club. We were in a group breakout of 5 people. 2 of us gave speeches, 2 of us gave evaluations. We had 2 guests, and we did a table topic. So it's a lot of activity that's allowed in a small group format. So everyone here, I just hope we see the icebreakers moving along in your programs, because the more achievement we also get as club members, we lift the boat. We make the club more successful. So it's an exceptional model and something that I hope we all take advantage of. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Would you like a chocolate?
I would like one with, yes, if it's a dark chocolate with raspberry.
Oh, my favorite.
Look for
Here
one of
comes.
those. Thank you. Ooh.
Awesome. And did you have anything else there, Kathleen?
No, but I see Frederica and I want to see and hear more from her.
And it looks like Hannah is raising her hand too.
Oh, she is. Thank you.
Awesome. So
You want to hear more from me? I want to say thanks again for coming to this meeting. I always enjoy it. I had never done a speechcraft in a breakout room. So that was a totally new experience. And I had 2 great speakers. So I learned a lot. And I think I will take that to some of the clubs that I belong to, because I belong to about 4 of them. I'm Vice President Education for one in England. And I will use that. Linda is just great. So I love that speech, Linda. Well, 2 Lindas we had, right? No, Lynn and Linda.
Lynn and Linda,
Gave
yeah.
2 great speeches, but Linda, she's a rock. So Linda, I will be coming to you for some advice too on my speechcraft program. I really
Did you
enjoyed
get your
looking forward
email?
to next-
Did you get her
Excuse me?
email from the chat?
Hi, can you hear
I think I
me?
should have her email. I
Hello?
think she's the one who sends correspondence every week, so I
Okay.
should have it.
Okay, great. Great. Would you like a chocolate?
Send that right across to Dominica.
There you go. Woo!
I caught it. I caught it. See you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And Hina.
Hi, everyone. Hello from sunny side of life, the Maldives. I'm so glad I joined this meeting. And Linda, you just, it was so amazing, Linda and Lynn. You know, the breakout room is what I'm taking back. And being a new club, I learned a lot. And, you know, coming from my side and giving this opportunity and to see the cool, calm, but still, you know, so effective. It impacted me definitely. So I'm sure I am taking this with strong. And Linda, you are a mentor, you know, it's so good. And also Lynn, it was so wonderful to see your speech, you know, very inspirational. And then both of you, you did a wonderful job. And I am really, you know, great that I took the opportunity and joined it. And thank you all, Cynthia, the president here. And I'm sure I am a learner. That's my motto. I definitely will take it to my club, and I am so glad I brought it to Maldives. And we are the only club in Maldives, so I'm hoping to grow. And with this experience, I am very confident, and it's a positive takeaway. You know, it's amazing. All of you are wonderful. You know, I am so glad. I'm just looking forward for the next meeting. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity as well. Have a blessed
Great.
day.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And we really want you to come back again. Okay. But not next week, because we're not meeting the next week, because it's the 5th Monday of the month, and we don't have any meeting on the 5th Monday. So we'll see you after that.
And don't forget her chocolates, my dear.
And her chocolate. Yeah. What kind of chocolate would you want?
As dark as it can be. And with
Here it
lots of
comes.
nuts. Yeah. All right, ready to catch. Okay. And yeah, I give one piece for each of you as well. Take it, please. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Okay. That's all we have, folks. So next week we're not meeting, but be sure to be back on April 5th. Even if the evening time is not good for you, we are meeting at 5:45 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific/San Francisco time. So even if it's not a good time for you, even if it's in the middle of the night, you want to come, because Sarah Khan is going to be our presenter. She's amazing. She's a peacemonger, and she's going to be talking about peace and how to bring that into your life. So we really want to see you there. If you have to miss it, it will be on video on our YouTube channel. Is there any other announcements we need to make?
I don't think so. We have district contests. April 16th is the evaluation contest, and April 23rd is the international speech contest.
And that's in the evening time, right?
That
Like
is in the
6
evening
to
time,
9?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
I think
great.
it's 6 to 8.
Something like that. Okay, great. And then we also have the conference, which I think is going to be like $10 to attend on May 1st. And that's gonna be a Saturday, and it'll probably be 5 or 6 hours during the day. They're still working that out. But yeah, that's all I have. Anything else?
I want to thank Patricia for showing up. It's so great to see you. It's a rare treat.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
On that, we can actually end on time.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay.
Be well, everybody. Go
Bye-bye.
radiate light to the world.
Thank you all.